Hi ladies, it's Beck here. Thanks for an awesome class today. I really enjoyed showing you how to use our Stampin' Blends and you all did a fantastic job. So this video is going to be a recap for everyone who was here at class today, but is mainly aimed at Ruth because Ruth wasn't able to be here today. So I'm posting her card stock supplies to her. She already has her blends and her memento. And so Ruth, you'll be able to watch this video and follow along and pick up some tips for colouring with your new Stampin' Blends. So the first thing that you need to know is that when you're colouring with your Stampin' Blends, these are alcohol-based markers. So the colour is suspended in an alcohol solution. Alcohol evaporates quickly, and that's why they work so well. So if you're going to stamp an image to colour in, you need to use your Memento Tuxedo Black because it is a water-based ink. So my general rule, my easy way to remember it is that opposites attract. So if you're colouring with alcohol, you stamp with water-based. So this one is your water-based. Your StazOn is actually not a water-based ink. It's an alcohol-based ink. So if you're colouring with water-based markers like our Stampin' Write markers, then you do the opposite and you stamp with an alcohol ink, not a water-based ink. So opposites attract, I should say. Water-based ink with alcohol markers or alcohol ink with water-based markers. So our Stampin' Blends are alcohol markers, so we stamp with water-based ink. So what we did today, we made this card first. And this is just basic colouring in with the Stampin' Blends. We didn't do any blending or shading on this card. So Ruth, I will send you the stamped images ready to go, and so that you can just colour them, because I realise you may not have the stamps that we've used today. That's okay, I'll send them to you. But I'll show you what to do. Okay, so there's the finished card. So these ones are already stamped for you. And you've got your Flirty Flamingo light and dark, you've got your bullet tip end, and you've got your brush tip end. Now working in these small spaces, I think personally it's best to use your bullet tip end because you have a little bit more control. If you're going to use your brush tip end, just go really lightly, don't be heavy-handed because it is the softer, kind of juicier end, and you can end up going outside the lines if you're not really careful. So let's get started. We're going to use our light Call Me Clover to colour in our cake stand. Now of course you can swap these colours around, but this is just what we did today, or what I did on my sample here. So I'm taking the bullet tip end so that I have a little bit more control in these small areas. Now you can lay down about 3 or so layers of this colour before it's fully saturated. So the first layer that you do is going to look quite light. Let me bring it up closer. It's quite light, but if I go over it a couple of times, it will darken up a little bit. It's only going to darken up to a certain point. Once it's completely saturated, it's not going to get any darker than that. Next month, we will get our dark Call Me Clover and we'll be able to add in the darker shade for some blending. Okay, so just basic colouring that in. Stems of the lollipops. Stems, sounds like a flower when I say stems, doesn't it? Now, it's quite a detailed little stamp there, so you can use both your dark and your light to give the sort of twisted lollipop impression. Oh, that was my brush tip end. It's a little bit big to work in that small area. Let me go with my bullet tip end. And I'm kind of just skipping every second one, and then I'll come in with the dark one. And do the alternating little bits. Okay. I won't do the whole thing, I'll just give you the basic idea. Then with your cake, we're going to, actually that's my dodgy one, look, didn't stamp that one very well. Let's go with, that's better, let's do that one. Okay, so I'm going to take again my bullet tip because it's quite skinny little areas here. I'll do the drippy icing in the darker Flirty Flamingo. Remember, you can take your time, there's no rush. Okay, and then the light one, I hope this is coming up okay on the camera. I'm sure I will get much better at these videos as we go. Actually, I think because this is a bigger area, I'm going to switch to my brush tip. That's going to be a little bit easier. There we go. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking colouring things in and cutting things out when people are watching you. I should be used to it now. Okay, so there's the bottom half coloured. Let's pretend I've coloured the whole thing, and then we punch it out. Here's one I punched out before, but it's not coloured. You can pop it on with dimensionals there, and that's how it will look when it's finished. Okay, now for the ribbon, this was a nifty little trick. We actually coloured the ribbon with our light Flirty Flamingo. If you're not sure which is light and which is dark, it's written on the side here. Pretty small. I'm actually thinking about putting a big label on them, like a stick-on label, so that I can see easier. But take your ribbon, just plain white organza ribbon, and if you use the brush tip, you're just going to use the side of the brush tip and run it along the ribbon. Okay, do the whole piece and then turn it over, do the other side. Just let that dry for a minute. Because it's a permanent marker and an alcohol marker, it's going to dry really quickly compared to if you were dyeing the ribbon with our water-based inks and then waiting for them to dry. So that's pretty cute, and then you can tie it into a bow and it looks like that. So that was the first card that we made. Now I'm going to stop this video here and start a new video for the second card, just because I know sometimes it takes a really long time for the videos to upload. And I'll see if I can get this to upload onto a YouTube channel as well for the people that are not on Facebook. Okay, so I'll chop this one off here and I'll see you again in the next video soon. Bye.